What's going on, everyone? So by the time this video goes live, I'll be 5 days away from starting my official prep diet. I'll be honest, I've got some mixed feelings about it at this point. In this video, while showing you some footage of my latest training session, I'm going to share with you a little bit of the internal dialogue I've been having as I get closer to beginning the next and the deepest phase of my contest prep. And more specifically, I'm going to share with you the two biggest challenges I've been facing on the prep thus far, which I know are only going to become more challenging the deeper I get into the prep. But I'm also going to share with you what I'm most excited about, the single thing that's keeping me really driven and motivated to keep moving forward. Before we dive in, if you find yourself enjoying the video, please consider hitting the like button and subscribing to the channel. It really helps me out. All right, let's dive in. Okay, super quick, here's a bit of context. I've got 5 days left until I'm back in the caloric deficit to enter into the third phase of my competition prep. For the past 4 weeks, I've been in the second phase of my competition prep, a maintenance block, where I've been eating right around my maintenance calories. Prior to that, I spent 18 weeks in a caloric deficit for the first phase of my prep, which was called my pre-prep diet, where I lost just under 20 pounds. At this point, my energy levels in the gym are quite good. I haven't really hit many load or rep PRs in a while, but the overall quality of my training has been high. I've been able to train very hard, and my mind-muscle connection has been great. Although I've had some minor pains and injuries along the way, I've managed to train around them just fine, and at this point, I'm pretty much injury-free, with a little bit of pain on my left elbow, but it's really nothing major. So things are great on that front. So far, I've been pushing up against two main challenges in the prep. The first has been managing hunger. No surprises there. By the time I got to the end of my pre-prep diet, so after the first 18 weeks of dieting, my hunger levels were definitely high. For the past 4 weeks of my maintenance block, the hunger subsided a bit, but it's still been pretty high overall. Honestly, I thought it would have dropped a bit more by this point, but it is what it is. Something I've learned from past preps is that the best thing we can do is to embrace and accept hunger rather than to fight it. When I say fight it, I'm referring to doing things like drinking tons and tons of diet soda or going out of your way to make food volume excessively high in your meals. Don't get me wrong. 1 or 2 diet sodas a day can be a helpful way to take a bit of the edge of hunger off, and making your meals a decently high volume is actually important to try to mitigate any excess levels of hunger. It's when we take those strategies to the extreme that they can become problematic. Eating excessively high volumes of low-calorie dense foods like vegetables, for example, can lead to excess bloating or other problems with digestion, a greater fixation on food from a psychological standpoint, and sometimes it can have a negative impact on your physical visuals from any bloating, distension, or even excess water retention. Ironically, even when eating low-calorie meals that are extremely high volume that still leave you in a deficit, once you get lean enough, you'll still probably be hungry, even with the bloating and distension. So again, the best thing I've learned that I can do with hunger is just to accept and embrace it. Let the feelings settle in and just live with it one day at a time. It might seem counterintuitive, but that actually makes the process easier, not harder. Even so, in understanding this and knowing what's in store for me as I get into the next phase of my prep, and that is that the hunger is going to grow, I would be dishonest if I told you I wasn't feeling a bit uneasy about it. Hunger is an uncomfortable feeling, and it is only going to get harder from this point. I'm a human after all. That all being said, I'm doing this thing because the rewards of experiencing the hunger are just worth it. I'll let you know what the rewards that I'm talking about are in a few minutes here. But first, the other main challenge of the prep I've experienced thus far has been managing the psychological impact of the entire prep timeline. From the start of my pre-prep diet until my last tentatively planned show, my entire prep will be at least a full year long, but maybe longer. Simply put, it's just a very long period of having a fairly rigid life structure. And although I'm doing this whole prep because ultimately I think it's worth it, being able to look ahead and see that there are still many months ahead of rigidity, hunger, and other future challenges feels daunting sometimes. I mentioned this ages ago in one of my past videos, but to help me manage the long timeline, I made it a goal to keep my mind in the present, to take things one day at a time, and to try not to allow myself to dwell too much on the future. Honestly, as far as the execution of my prep has gone and will continue to go, that might be the most important goal I have. I've had times where I failed at it and felt myself become more anxious about things than has been helpful, definitely. But even so, when I manage to remind myself to keep myself fixed on the present, I can get my head back on my shoulders and feel content about being in the moment. I think it's an important mental and emotional exercise, and also something that is making the prep itself feeling more fulfilling and allowing me to live my life at the fullest despite living in the challenge of a rigid life structure. Okay, so experiencing hunger and managing the psychological impact of my long prep timeline have been the biggest challenges I've faced thus far, and I suspect will continue to face. And it's the combination of those two ongoing challenges that have been leaving me feeling a bit uneasy about starting the next leg of my prep. Now, I've got to share with you the single thing I've been the most excited about during the prep thus far that's really keeping me motivated and driven. It's pretty simple, to be honest. I'm most looking forward to the feeling of reward that will come by the time I get to the end of the prep after having done my absolute best, and then celebrating the time with my family and some friends. Competition placings aside, the feeling of getting to the end of the massive challenge that is a prep is pretty unbeatable. It's like the pinnacle of delayed gratification. And this time, the prospect of celebrating reaching the finish line with my family and friends, perhaps more so than I have in past preps, makes me feel even more excited. The best memory I have of any prep was actually after my 2020 prep came to a close, where I spent the Thanksgiving weekend with my brother, mom, and grandparents squeezed into my brother's small studio apartment. I did fairly well at the competition, placing second and looking great at the time, but it was spending the time with my family afterwards that was really memorable. So I'm excited to recreate that feeling, hopefully, at the end of this prep. Don't get me wrong, I'm excited and motivated to beat the past stage-ready versions of myself, to be super competitive and take a solid crack at winning. I'm doing this prep without holding anything back, and I'm not doing it to come second place. But even so, from the experience I have with prepping 4 times before this, I know that what will make this most worth doing and memorable is simply getting to the other side of the shows, knowing I've done my absolute best, and then spending time celebrating with family. And there you have it. I've got only 5 days left of this maintenance block before transitioning into the third and final phase of my contest prep, where I will get stage lean. The 2 biggest struggles that I've been facing thus far, the 2 biggest challenges have been the experience of hunger, which I know is only going to grow as I get deeper into the prep, and psychologically managing the long timeline of the prep. Admittedly, it's those 2 challenges that have been leaving me feeling a little bit uneasy about starting this next tough phase of the prep. That said, my excitement to get to the finish line after doing the absolute best I can across the prep and getting the incredibly rewarding sensation that will come with that, in combination with looking forward to spend some quality celebratory time with my family, is more than enough to keep me feeling motivated and driven to keep moving forward. If you have any questions about the specifics of my prep, you're invited to drop them in the comments below. I'm always excited to answer. Before this video comes to a close, I wanted to quickly let you know about the work that I do. When I'm not making YouTube videos, recording podcast episodes, or making Instagram content, I work full-time as an online physique coach where I help my clients to accomplish their muscle growth and fat loss goals by optimizing their approach to strength training and nutrition, and I coach them through the process. If you've been considering getting some help with accomplishing your own physique goals, you're invited to hit the link in the description below to learn a little bit more about the work that I do and how I can help you. You can even use that link to schedule a free video consultation with me. If you have any questions about my coaching or how I can help you, just email me at sam@jadeathletics.ca. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.